Today, we're going to hack football. Well, not literally, but we are going to crack the code on one of the most popular bets out there, over 2.5 goals. We're going to leave the guesswork and the gut feelings behind and dive into a super simple, data-driven strategy to find those matches that are just mathematically set up for a goal fest. So let's get right into it.
So let's talk about something called the entertainment overlap trap. We've all been there, right? You see two huge teams about to play. You're expecting an absolute classic, and you put your money down based on how entertaining you think it's going to be. We end up betting like fans, totally driven by hype and hope, not by cold, hard data. And you know what? That emotional approach, that's exactly how the bookies make their money. They count on it. But what if we could flip that whole thing on its head? What if we could use the same kind of data they use to find our own edge? Well, guess what? There is another way, and it all starts with just a little shift in how you think.
Which brings us right to section 1. Thinking like an analyst. Honestly, this is the most important part of the whole thing. It's about making a conscious choice to trade that emotion for evidence. It's time to put down the team scarf just for a minute and pick up the calculator instead.
This breaks it down perfectly. Look at the fan on the left. They're all about emotion. They see the big-name players and just hope for an amazing game. But the analyst, over on the right, that's all about the brain. They're not looking at names. They're looking at data. They're hunting for specific mathematical ratios that point to a strong attack and, just as important, a vulnerable defense. The analyst isn't hoping for anything. They're calculating the probability. So how do we actually do that? That leads us right into section 2, the 2-ratio goal formula. This is the good stuff. We're about to unpack the simple 2-part mathematical formula that really drives this entire strategy. First, though, just a super quick refresher for anyone who might be new to this. When we say over 2.5 goals, we're just betting that the total number of goals scored in the match by both teams will be 3 or more. So a 2-1, a 3-0, even a 2-2, they all win. It doesn't matter who scores them, as long as that total hits 3. And you know, the real beauty of this whole strategy is just how easy it is to access the info. You don't need any fancy, expensive software. The 2 numbers we need, they're basically hiding in plain sight on any league standings table, which you can find for free on an app like SofaScore. All right, here we go. Part 1 of our formula. The very first thing we're looking for is a team that is a proven goal-scoring machine. We need to find a match where at least one of the 2 teams averages 1.5 goals or more every single game. This is our first non-negotiable check for offensive firepower. But listen, a great attack on its own isn't quite enough. We need to create the perfect storm for goals, and that means we need some defensive weakness. So rule number 2 is just as critical. Both teams have to be conceding on average at least 1 goal per game. We need leaky defenses on both sides of that field. And really, that's the whole logic right there. When you combine one team that's just built to score with 2 teams that are known for letting goals in, well, you're not just hoping for goals anymore. You've created a mathematical recipe, a perfect storm for the ball to end up in the back of the net. Now, finding a match that fits our 2-ratio formula is a fantastic start. But the pros? They don't stop there. And that brings us to section 3, adding the deeper layers. This is where we add those extra little checks that take a good pick and make it a great one. Think about it. A season-long average is powerful, yeah, but it's really a history report. It tells you what a team was doing, not necessarily what they're doing right now. A team's form can dip, key players get injured. We have to make sure that historical data is actually relevant for today's game. So we add 3 quick checks. First, just look at their last 5 games. Are they still scoring and conceding goals like their average suggests? Second, check the team news. Is their top scorer out with an injury? Is their best defender suspended? That kind of thing can totally change the game. And third, check their home versus away stats. Some teams are absolute monsters at home, but can't score to save their lives on the road. And get this, here's a crazy stat that shows you just how much real-time info matters. If one of the games we picked is still 0-0 at halftime, the chance of it finishing with 3 or more goals absolutely plummets, all the way down to just 16.3%. That's a massive drop. But if there's an early goal, those chances shoot way up because it tells you the game is open and playing out just like the data said it would. Okay, we've gone through the mindset, the core formula, and those all-important deeper layers. So now, let's pull everything together in our last section, your over 2.5 checklist. Think of this as your one-stop shop, an actionable tool to guide you. Here it is. This is your takeaway. Number 1, does one team hit that 1.50 plus scoring metric? Check. Number 2, Do both teams hit the 1.0 plus conceded metric? Check. 3. Does their recent form actually back this up? 4. Are the key goal scorers actually playing today? And finally, as a little bonus, if you're watching live, does an early goal pop in to show the game is wide open? If you can tick these boxes, you've officially moved past just guessing and into real strategic analysis. So, there you have it. The entire framework is yours now. Look, this was never about just giving you blind tips. It's about giving you a process so you can make your own smart, evidence-based decisions. All the data is out there just waiting for you, so the only real question left is, what are you going to do with it?